Welcome to this special coffee with yours truly, Adrian h.a.dragan, H rebirthing his Hana priestess, the dancing goddess, Dragon Zero of the Dragon Empire, and androgynous pansexual founder of the Phoenix People's Party, the anti-war, anti-poverty, anti-racism, pro-love party. This cup of coffee is dedicated to world peace. Coffee is already put in. Remember the motto of the Dancing Goddess Empire. The Dragon Empire, one and the same empire. All the fruits, all the legumes, all the vegetables, even this black coffee bean was created, made, and produced by the dance of the goddess with her brother and son. My brothers and sisters, farmers harvested, and it came to me, of which I'm grateful for. To be able to drink and educate myself after this hard day of workout, training, and exercising, and meditating, and doing it all for the sake of world peace and the mission, vision, and philosophies of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire for world peace. One, by creating the Dragon Empire, by creating the International Citizen Integrated Social Security Force, aka the Dragon Army, in order to secure the three elements of civilization: food, housing, and transport for all, via public-private partnership and a global central bank, by biometrics, hand, and the eye and the voice are, of course, unique biometrics identifiers in each and every one of us. Mother Nature given, God has given. And the Dragon Army will have this mission to secure food, housing, and transport for all. And the Dancing Goddess to create the International Citizen, the International Integrated Dancing League, that is. The Dancing Goddess League, Sports League, Dance League, in order to organize mass dancing events across the world for the cleaning of the oceans, financing thereof, fundraising for the cleaning, mass cleaning of the oceans, rivers, waterways, lakes, and water systems. Of course, the Phoenix People's Party, the link between the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon, the Universal Revolutionary Centrist Party, revolutionary in that it concords to secure food, housing, and transport by the public-private partnership of the Dragon Army, the International Citizen Integrated Social Security Force, created thereof by willingly loving citizens and all existing public and private institutions and organizations. I'm calling all willingly willingly loving individuals, artists, athletes, all mankind, to join me in this quest for world peace. By the Dragon Army and the Dancing Goddess Army want to administer food, housing, and transport security for all allies, supporters, citizens, and subjects of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire. Everybody's willing in a non-sectarian, this is a non-sectarian, meaning non-sectarian religiously, regardless of religion, non-sectarian physically or racially. I believe in one human race, but ethnically, culturally, non-sectarian, and non-sectarian financially, rich and poor. So everybody's invited to this great quest for world peace that Adrian h.a.dragan invites you all to by dancing. All my dancing activities, my workouts are not dedicated to world peace. My philosophizing, this cup of coffee, which is part of my 40-day ongoing journey, revolution, which I started, 40-day revolution on January 20th, which is ongoing. Of course, and then March 1st, got a few Israeli wafers and milk, gotta add it on my accounting. Further ado, I will be taking a cup of coffee and we'll be doing some reading. Black History Month, Acquired Savant Syndrome, of which I know that now after so many years, more than 11 years, explains a lot of my ills and a lot of my new gifts and new talents which have been developed, especially my athletic, artistic, the dancing and the writing, and my activist even. Many ways explains the birth, paradoxical, providential, parallel birth of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire, or both one and the same empire. The Dancing Goddess and the Dragon are one empire. As the sun rises now, is 9:30 p.m. EST in Hawk Island. Of course, the sun is rising now over China, Japan, Korea, North and South, Indonesia, Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur is the capital of Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Laos, Nepal, Burma known as Myanmar, Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, India, New Zealand, Australia. The sun is always rising and always setting. As you can see, the emblem of the dancing goddess, of course, the flag with the red dragon, and there's a phoenix there. Of course, that shirt is going to be given away. I've put a video where I'm cleaning my room off some temple right here, which is going to be given away in the bag. I have to give it away this week, possibly tomorrow. Still got cleaning to do before I get on with this revolution, but still looking for that first donation. Perhaps I haven't checked my emails yet today since earlier, 3 o'clock in the morning, so might have gotten a PayPal donation. Somebody commissioned me a workout video, a dancing video, or perhaps a coffee with your truly h.a.dragan video, so that I can fund the revolution for world peace. That first donor will be mentioned in love and blessed. May all financial support that you do support me with via PayPal. For now, I'm looking to have crowdfunding and, of course, the Patreon. I'm only taking from for now via PayPal, and the other one, of course, Cash App and crowdfunding and Patreon. One step at a time. Maybe by tomorrow somebody will donate that first dollar. Maybe by midnight, or it's already donated, let's say, since I am, of course, living in the worst financial crisis of my life, paradoxically, but nonetheless, I'm getting in the fittest financial, physical, that is, of my adult life. This cup of coffee is for world peace. Again, this black coffee bean was created, made, and produced as all fruits and vegetables and legumes are by the dance of their goddess with her brother the sun, which, of course, now she rises, sun rises, and she dances with her brother continuously. The sun sets and sun rises, but now over much of East Asia, of course. For world peace, my brothers and sisters worldwide, h.a.dragan, we will be doing some reading. I'm gonna start now. Random readings, Trinity of readings, GameStop short squeeze, the Acquired Savant, Black History Month, and we will begin with Black History Month. Black History Month is an annual observance, so everything that I say is from Wikipedia or online. Or online, that is, of course. Black History Month. Black History Month is an annual observance originating in the United States, where it is also known as the African American History Month. My black brothers and sisters, join yours truly, willingly loving. It has received official recognition from governments in the United States and Canada, and more recently has been observed in Ireland, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom. It began as a way of remembering important people and events in the history of the African diaspora. It is celebrated in February in the United States and Canada, while in Ireland, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom, it is observed in October. Black History Month, also called African American History Month, observed by United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Netherlands. Significance: celebration of the African diaspora, including African American history. February, US and Canada. October, Europe. Of course, in North America, Canada was, of course, born twice in the past life as the United States of America. 156 years ago in the Deep South, I lived and died my life. The precursor to Black History Month was created in 1996 in the United States when historian Carter G. Woodson and the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History announced the second week of February to be Negro History Week. This announced the second week of February to be Negro History Week, second week, so after the 7th, so from the 7th to the 14th. This week was chosen because it coincided with the birthday of Abraham Lincoln on February 12th. I didn't know that. I mean, I know of Abraham Lincoln, but I didn't know he was. And of Frederick Douglass on February 20th. So Abraham Lincoln is a legal public holiday. Lincoln's holiday, 12th of February, is a legal holiday in the United States. Of course, of Abraham Lincoln's birth on February 12, 1809 in Hodgenville, Kentucky, and of Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass was an American social reformer, abolitionist, orator, writer, and statesman. After escaping from slavery in Maryland, he became a national leader of the abolitionist movement in Massachusetts and New York. Became famous for his. Now, Frederick Douglass is born on the 20th of February, both of which dates black communities had celebrated together since the late 19th century. Negro History Week was the center of the equation. The thought process behind the week was never recorded, but scholars acknowledge two reasons for its birth: recognition and importance. Read January 25 Negro History Weeks, the Negro History Bulletin. Woodson felt deeply that at least 1 week would allow for the general movement to become something annually celebrated. Also, after the 10-year-long halt to successfully complete his Journal of Negro History, the Journal of African American History, formerly the Journal of Negro History 1916 to 2001, is a quarterly academic journal covering African American life and history. It was founded in 1916 by Carter G. Woodson, that is, Wodson. The journal is owned and overseen by the Association for the Study of African Americans. He realized the subject deserved to resonate with a greater audience. There's a citation needed. Of course, there's. From the event's initial phase, primary emphasis was placed on encouraging the coordinated teaching of the history of black Americans in the nation's public schools. The first Negro History Week was met with a lukewarm response, gaining the cooperation of the Departments of Education of the states of North Carolina, Delaware, and West Virginia, as well as the city school administrations of Baltimore and Washington, D.C. Despite this far from universal observance, the event was regarded by Woodson as one of the most fortunate steps ever taken by the association, and plans for a repeat of the event on an annual basis continued apace. At the time of Negro History Week's launch, Woodson counted that the teaching of black history was essential to ensure the physical and intellectual survival of the race within broader society. If a race has no history, it has no worthwhile tradition. It becomes a negligible factor in the thought of the world, and it stands in danger of being exterminated. The American Indian left no continuous record. He did not appreciate the value of tradition, and where is he today? The Hebrew keenly appreciated the value of tradition, as is attested by the Bible itself. In spite of worldwide persecution, therefore, he is a great factor in our civilization. Woodson Negro History Week, page 239. By 1929, the Journal of Negro History was able to note that, with only two exceptions, officials with the state departments of educations of every state with considerable Negro population had made the event known to that state's teachers and distributed official literature associated with the event. Churches also played a significant role in the distribution of literature in association with Negro History Week during this initial interval, with the mainstream and black press aiding in the publicity effort. Throughout the 1930s, Negro History Week countered the growing myth of the South's lost cause, as epitomized in both the novel and the movie Gone with the Wind. The myth argued that slaves had been well treated, that the Civil War was a war of northern aggression, and that blacks had been better off under slavery. When you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. The lost cause of the Confederacy, or simply the lost cause, is an American pseudo-historical negationist ideology that advocates the belief that the cause of the Confederate States during the American Civil War was a just and heroic one. This ideology had furthered the belief that slavery. When you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. Woodson wrote in his book, The Miseducation of the American Negro, you do not have to tell him not to stand here or go yonder. He will find his proper place and will stay in it. Negro History Week grew in popularity throughout the following decades, with mayors across the United States endorsing it as a holiday. United States Black History Month. Black History Month was first proposed by black educators and the black United students at Kent House University in February 1969. The first celebration of Black History Month took place at Kent State 1 year later, from January 2 to February 28, 1970. 6 years later, Black History Month was being celebrated all across the country, United States, in educational institutions, centers of black culture, and community centers, both great and small. When President Gerald Ford recognized Black History Month in 1976 during the celebration of the United States bicentennial, that is 200 years since the Declaration of American Independence from the British Empire. He urged Americans to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history. In our black community, Black History Month was met with enthusiastic response. It prompted the creation of Black History Clubs, an increase in interest among teachers, and interest from progressive whites. On February 21, 2016, a 106-year Washington, D.C. resident and school volunteer, Virginia McLaurin, visited the White House as part of Black History Month. When asked by the president why she was there, McLaurin said, "A black president, a black wife, and I'm here to celebrate black history. That's what I'm here for." Such a beautiful smile. Wow, she's 106. Virginia McLaurin is an American community volunteer and supergenitarian. A resident of Washington, D.C., she gained national attention after visiting the White House on February 18, 2016 to celebrate the annual. United Kingdom, 1987. In the United Kingdom, Black History Month was first celebrated in October 1987, which year was also coincidentally the 150th anniversary of Caribbean emancipation, the centenary of the birth of Marcus Garvey, and the 25th anniversary of the Organization of African Unity, an institution dedicated to advancing the progress of African states. Black History Month in the UK was organized through the leadership of Ghanaian from Ghana, the country of Ghana in Africa. h.a.dragan, who had served as a coordinator of special projects for the Greater London Council and created a collaboration to get it underway. It was first celebrated in London in 1987 as part of African Jubilee Year, when on October 1st, Dr. Mola Karenga from the US was invited to an event at Country Hall to mark the contributions of black people throughout history. Adai Sebo drew up a plan to recognize the contributions of African, Asian, and Caribbean people to the economic, cultural, and political life in the UK, with other boroughs beginning formally to institute October as Black History Month in the UK. Canada, 1995. In 1995, after a motion by politician Jean Augustin representing the riding of Etobicoke Lakeshore in Ontario, Canada's House of Commons officially recognized February as Black History Month and honored Black Canadians. In 2008, Senator Donald Oliver moved to have the Senate officially recognize Black History Month, which was unanimously approved. Canada's House of Commons is the lower chamber of the bicameral Parliament of Canada, which also comprises the Sovereign and the Senate of Canada. The House of Commons currently meets in a temporary Commons chamber in the west block of the Parliament buildings on Parliament Hill. Republic of Ireland, 2010. Ireland's Great Hunger Institute, a Quinnipiac University in Connecticut notes, Black History Month Ireland was initiated in Cork in 2010. This location seems particularly appropriate as in the 19th century the city was a leading center of abolition, and the male and female anti-slavery societies welcomed a number of black abolitionists to lecture there, including Charles Lenoir Remond, R.E., was an American orator, activist, and abolitionist based in Massachusetts, and Frederick Douglass, of course, we read. Developments. When first established, Black History Month resulted in some controversy. Those who believed that Black History Month was limited to educational institutions questioned whether it was appropriate to confine the celebration of Black history to 1 month, as opposed to integration of Black history into the mainstream education the rest of the year. Question of integration. Interesting. I want to read more about it, hear more about it. Let's see. Integration of Black history into the mainstream education the rest of the year. Another concern was that, contrary to the original inspiration of Black History Month, which was a desire to redress the manner in which American schools failed to represent Black historical figures as anything other than slaves or colonial subjects, Black History Month could reduce complex historical figures to overly simplified objects of hero worship. Other hero worship. For some reason, strangely, paradoxically, providentially, and parallel, weird, eerie way, thought of. Remember Kanye West? What was that song? A couple of years ago, maybe even a decade ago. Doesn't come to me now, but anyways, where he was like criticized for portraying himself as XYZ. Other critics refer to the celebration. Nothing against Kanye. I love Kanye West. I actually wrote some lyrics that I want him to sing as part of my invitation to Trump to fight me in a boxing match. Other critics refer to the celebration as a form of racism. Actor and director Morgan Freeman. I love Morgan Freeman a lot. He's an American actor and director and narrator. I'm not sure, but he was one of the first, if not the first, to portray a black president in movies, Hollywood movies. And actress Stacey Dash have criticized the concept. Morgan Freeman, interesting. And actress Stacey Dash have criticized the concept of declaring only 1 month as Black History Month. Morgan Freeman, that is, whom I love and is great. Noted, interesting. He's quoted here though. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history and world history, because I believe we're one human race, that we're struggling with all our ancestors, our civilization, our nations and empires, and to become this one race, the free race. And of course, we can't become free race until we have some justice. So I believe securing food, housing, and transport via the Dragon Empire was non-sectarian, and the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Empire were one. I invite all to come dance and love. It's free, you know. We got struggles. We gotta admit the struggles when we have racist, homophobic, XYZ struggles. We gotta. It's hard to admit these things, that are at 13.3 years, 13.3, 13.3 years. It took me to come out as bisexual. I'm pansexual, of course, androgynous, but it's not easy. Since its inception, Black History Month has expanded beyond its initial acceptance in educational establishments. In 2018, Instagram created its first ever Black History Month program with the help of its then head of global music and youth culture communications, Chavon. Instagram's Black History Month program featured a series of first time initiatives, including a Black Girl Magic partnership with Spotify and the launch of Celebrate Black Creatives program, which reached more than 19 million followers. By 2020, Black History Month had become a focus beyond schools. The Wall Street Journal describes it as a time when the culture and contributions of African Americans take center stage in a variety of cultural institutions, including theaters, libraries, and museums. It has also garnered attention from the U.S. business community. Note 31: Secrets of Wealthy Women. African American Women on Overcoming Obstacles. The Wall Street Journal, February 6, 2019. Archive, October 24th, 2020. In February 2020, Forbes noted, just before the beginning of COVID-19, I gotta say that as whenever I mention COVID, I'm gonna do a little interruption. And of course, my brothers and sisters, Black in Canada, US, are suffering more with the vaccine discrimination and what have you. And of course, I think I had it exactly what by the 20th of February 2020, I was healed. It took me 22 days, but I was struck with illness, disease, and pestilential, like from like end of beginning of February to like February 20th, 2020. So I thought I might had it. I think I had it. And of course I was COVID then started becoming in the news. I got tested last October, but in February 2020, Forbes notes, in February 2020, the stock market crash began because of COVID. Note that much of corporate America is commemorating Black History Month, including the Coca-Cola Company. In February 2020, Forbes noted that much of corporate America is commemorated Black History Month, including the Coca-Cola Company, Google, Target Corporation, Macy's, United Parcel Services, and Under Armour. All these corporations, all corporations here in not just USA, because North America, we're pretty much integrated. By tomorrow morning, by midnight tonight, when this video is going to be posted, if not by midnight the next day, Wednesday, on all the salaries from Walmart employees to Coca-Cola to Target to Google, the ones that make below 37, that make below 38, all right, 30, to be increased 15% ASAP, especially Walmart ones. So that is Black History Month, and I'm now going to do a reading a little bit on. I'm going to jump, and we're just going to do the African Diaspora. consists of a worldwide collection of communities descended from native Africans or people from Africa, predominantly in the Americas. The diaspora has continued for millennia, but historically, ethnographers, historians, politicians, and writers have used the term particularly to refer to the descendants of the West and Central Africans who were enslaved and shipped to the Americas via the Atlantic slave trade between the 16th and 19th centuries, with their largest populations in Brazil, the United States, and Haiti. Some scholars identify four circulatory phases of this migration out of Africa. The phrase African diaspora gradually entered common usage at the turn of the 21st century. The term diaspora originates from the Greek diaspora, scattering, which gained popularity in English in reference to the Jewish diaspora, which, of course, well, I'm mixed, I'm multi-ethnic, but I have some Jewish, Israelite, children of Israel, Hebrew. All those terms using the same, supposedly, I mean, because Jacob, who became Israel, the story in the Torah, there's much more mystic stories to it, but there's still a mystery to who we are, really, the mysterious Jewish people of Israel, because Jacob, the father, progenitor who struggled all night, that long night, he got injured. Read in Genesis chapter 32. The patriarch of the Jewish people, it says he got injured, he got an injury, right? In that struggle all night, and that entity, as an angel, archangel, God herself, at dawn, it says, let me go, for dawn is break. And I'm joking, I say, well, what was that entity? He said, was it a vampire? The first vampire couldn't leave, had to leave because the sun couldn't bear the sun, like the mythology, of course, of vampires and what have you. But nonetheless, he's of course the father of the 12 tribes, and the 13th, Dinah, of course, from the tribes of Israel, right? That was 3,789 or so circa years ago, from what we know chronologically, right? And we spent a lot of time in ancient Egypt. There's mystery to the Bible. Genesis 50 is a great mystery. And of course it says when the Jews left with Moses, he spent of course life Freud wrote some controversial stuff. Anyways, Black History Man, Black to the Diaspora. I'm just diverging a bit because said he reference to the Jewish diaspora before being more broadly applied to other populations, such as the African diaspora. African diaspora. Total population circa. So circa means an estimation, 140 million. Regions with significant populations. And just by curiosity, how much is the population of Africa? Canada, we're what, 37.8 million? Almost 38, almost 38, almost 38. Demographics of Africa. The population of Africa has grown rapidly over the past century and consequently shows a large youth bulge, further reinforced by a low life expectancy of below 50 years in some African countries. Total population as of 2020 is estimated at more than 1.3 billion, with a growth rate of more than 2.5%. The total fertility rate, so 1.3 billion. But what's interesting is China more than the total population of Africa? So this is the whole population of Africa is estimated at more than 1.3 billion. A billion is 1,000 million. Much is China. China, officially the People's Republic of China, is a country in East Asia. It is the world's most populous country, with a population of around 1.4 billion. So, wow, China has more population than Africa, the continent. Wow, by a few hundred million. Wow. By a few, not 100 million, correction, by like a few tens of millions, 70 million, 80 million. Still, I wouldn't have thought, as a continent, I thought it was. Anyways, this is the statistics, I guess, from the United Nations, but I wonder how much are in the Americas. Wow, in the Americas, we're probably close to a billion too. United States about 340 million, Canada 38, Mexico more than 100. Yeah, we probably get there. With Brazil I think is more than 200 million. So yeah, we probably get close to a billion too in the Americas. Let me see, just checking now. Population of America. Nah, it goes with demographics of the United States. That's not what I want. Okay, the US estimated the country population to be 328 million. Third most populous in the world. India is, of course, the second. But one of the American continent. Anyways, so African Diaspora, total population estimation 140 million. Regions with significant populations. United States of America. The 41,989,671, not including mixed people. Brazil. Brazil, 14 million, not including mixed people. Haiti, 9.9 million people. Colombia, 4.9 million people, including this one. United States and Brazil, not including mixed people. In Colombia says including mixed people. I guess their census, maybe how they're styled, the questions are different and people could have different options. I wonder if that way. Anyways, France, approximately 3.3 to 5 million, 5.5 million France. Venezuela, 3.7 million, there's citation needed. Yemen, 3.5. Saudi Arabia, 3.3. Jamaica, 2.5 million, this is millions. United Kingdom, 1.9. Mexico, 1,386,000. Canada, 1,198,000. Spain, 1,191,000, 79% being North African. Italy, 1,159,000, 59% being North African. Dominican Republic, 1,138,000. Ecuador, 1,120,000. Cuba, 1 million. Germany, 529,000. Peru, 828,000. Trinidad and Tobago, 452,000. Puerto Rico, 395,000. Australia 380,000, Barbados 270,000, Pakistan 250,000, Guyana 225,000, Suriname 200,000, Argentina 149,000, Russia 50,000. Only 50,000 in Russia. I was sure it was close to like a few hundred thousand, but very low in Russia, 50,000. Grenada 101. So there you have it. That is my dedication for Black History Month. Now we're gonna go to another topic, the GameStop short squeeze. A very controversial event. My take on it is that the powers that be, financial hedge fund managers, did not want the little guys. Like, financially, I would have loved to make an investment. I would have invested. I researched a bit. I know a little bit about the stock market. Can always learn some more from Warren Buffett and other greats. I know a little bit about it. I know the fundamentals, that income, income sheets, expenditures, products, market. You got to look at the chart for the past year, 5 years, 10 years, 20, 25. Of course, if it's a company that's old, a corporation that's not since, depending, since it's maybe since, if it's new, IPO, initial public offering, then got to do more research, I guess. But there are fundamentals for a stock market. Basically, market for the product or service that it sells, right? Like this coffee, like the market. Well, there's a market that's growing for coffee. Fundamental one. Fundamental two, in my, as an independent financial researcher, student, still analyst, scholar student, still learning every day. But nonetheless, I would look at the fundamentals. The company you call, maybe go to the headquarters, visit if you had those means, of course. The company's initial public offering, well, more, but nonetheless, if it's a company like established corporation, let me take a good example. Walmart's been around for 50 years. Coca-Cola has been around for more than 50 years. McDonald's for, I think, more than 50 years or above 50 years. So these are big established ones. Their stock are high. Take other stock. Tesla is not that new, right? It's not that new. It's been more than 50 years. PayPal, Facebook, they're not that new. They're newish, but they're not new. But there's newest, new, relatively new, and then older. I would classify like maybe on 10, and 10 would be corporations that are more than 100. The oldest, 156 years old. Like, I don't know. They're not that many, right? They're mostly financial banking institutions. 156 years old. Maybe jewelry, maybe, because Rolex, maybe not even Rolex. Maybe some pastry makers, chocolatiers. Maybe they've been around for a long time. Stuff like that. But anyways, the fundamentals to look at the price. Penny stocks, that's what I would invest. Paradoxically, I'm living in the worst financial crisis of my adult life, so can't invest 1 cent. But GameStop short squeeze, my take on it, it's a controversial that Robinhood halted the transactions for the people doing the transactions. It seems that it was not legal. And, we say free market and stocks, anybody can invest, but it seems like it wasn't that the free market, and now with the stock market, it seems that it's not that democratic or free in the first place. Of course, there's nuances. It's not black and white. I see a lot of gray, a lot of rainbow, but fundamentally, generally, that's what it seems to me. So, GameStop short squeeze Wikipedia article. In January 2021, a short squeeze of the stock of the American video game retailer GameStop and other securities took place. In the stock market, a short squeeze occurs when there is a lack of supply and an excess of demand for shares of a stock. The cause is usually an unexpected rapid increase in the stock price, forcing short sellers to cover their short positions by buying back shares of the stock. In January 2021, a short squeeze of the stock of the American video game retailer GameStop on the New York Stock Exchange, GME, GameStop. GameStop Corporation is an American video game, consumer electronics, and gaming merchandise retailer. I might have heard about it. I might have bought a game or two that were from GameStop, but since it was in the news now, I know a little bit more about GameStop. I thought it was fairly new. Let's see. GameStop is an American video game, consumer electronics, and gaming merchandise retailer. The company's headquarters in Grapevine, a suburb of Texas. Dallas, Texas. Suburb of Dallas, Texas. Grapevine is a city and suburb of Dallas and Fort Worth, located in northeast Tarrant County, Texas, United States, with minor portions extending into Dallas County and Danton County. The city is located in a mid-city suburban region between Dallas and Fort Worth, Texas, United States, and is the world's largest video game retailer. Wow. So this would be important to note if we were to invest in it. World's largest video game retailer. Wow. GameStop, red and black. Logo since 2000. GameStop Corp. And took on its current name in 1999. The company's retail stores primarily operate under the name GameStop, EB Games, Think Geek, and Micromania Zing brands. The company declined during the mid-late 2010s due to the shift of video game sales to online storefronts and failed investments by GameStop in smartphone retail. However, in 2021, the company's stock price skyrocketed due to a short squeeze orchestrated by users of the internet forum An internet forum or message board is an online discussion site where people can hold conversations in the form of posted messages. They differ from chat rooms in that messages are often longer than one line of text and are at least temporarily archived. Due to a short squeeze orchestrated by users of the internet forum are Wall Street Bets. Wall Street Bets, also known as Wall Street Bets or VSB, is a subreddit where participants discuss stock and option trading. It has become notable for its profane nature, aggressive trading strategies. I can be profane myself. Sometimes I fucking swear a fucking lot, like this fucking motherfucker's too rich. Fucking filthy, selfish, freaking motherfuckers, selfish billionaires don't want to share poison ass fucking selfishness. Something like that. Fuckers, motherfuckers. Athletes not giving during this COVID, making fucking billions, millions, running with a fucking ball with a motherfucking fucking them. Something fuck like that. Hey, I give fucks to my fuckers for free fuckers. There you go. Wall Street Bets is a subreddit where participants discuss stock option and option trading. As you can know, for its profane nature. I get dirty, but I get clean. Dragons, we get dirty, but we get clean, man. Fucking sharing is fucking caring. Is fucking selfish. Fucking millionaires, fucking billionaires. A billion is 1,000 million. Only secure food, housing, and transport. Legalize fucking drugs. Stop the war on drugs. With legalized standards. Fucking Wall Street Bets is a subreddit where participants discuss stock and option trading. It has become notable for its profane nature, aggressive trading strategies, and role in the GameStop short squeeze that caused losses on short positions in U.S. firms stopping. So, products. So, third analysis would be the products, services that you have, the employees, and look at their balance sheet, basically. The main things, the fundamentals of a business. And the other things, the debt is important. Take me. I have debt, $10,000 I wish I could pay off tomorrow, but my interest is low. So the interest on the debt, not just the debt per se, because the number of a debt, if I have $10,000 interest debt, which I do, wish I could pay it tomorrow by a donation. I'll pay it off right away because I'm paying interest, not that high, I'm paying 8% interest. 8% is manageable. Everything under 10% interest is manageable. I'm advocating for 10% on all. I'm advocating now to more financial institutions when they ring, all of them, all the credit cards, all the other ones to be below 10. 10 maximum on all credit cards, all loans, business loans, personal loans, student loans, not having credit cards, not 10% maximum law. This is the Dragon's law. Because 10%, I believe in giving 10% to charity. Right. So products, video games, consoles, accessories. The console, of course, a video game console is an electronic or computer device that outputs a video signal or visual image to display a video game that one or more people can play through some type of game controller. These may be home consoles, which are generally placed in a permanent location. Accessories. Video game accessories is a distinct piece of hardware that is required to use a video game console, or one that enriches the video game plays experience. Essentially, video game accessories are everything except the console itself, such as controllers, memory, power adapters. So interesting. The revenue in 2019 was $6.466 billion, 6.466 billion, so pretty high revenue. Operating income lost in 2019 more than 464 million. That's a big loss. Net income, so it was in the red pretty much. Founded in 9 predecessors, software, etc. Funko had a predecessor. Interesting industry. Retail. Retail is the process of selling consumer goods or services to customers through multiple channels of distribution to earn a profit. Retailers satisfy demand identified through a supply chain. The term retailer is typically applied where a service provider fills the small order. So, area serves several countries. Austria, Canada, Denmark, France, Germany, Italy, Ireland, New Zealand, Sweden, Switzerland, United States. Founded in 1984. 1984. Says 37 years ago, but 84 is 36 years ago. Well, if it's in January or February, it could be if it's in February 20, 1984, February 20, 1984. February 20, 1984 would make it exactly 37 years and 3 days, right? Then yes, but it has to be so. If it's in March, it's almost, but not. So that means next year, if it's February 9 or whatever, it'll be almost 38. I have to know the date. Maybe it's February 11th or whatever that way it was founded, then yes. Then it is 37. So the short squeeze, back to the short squeeze. GameStop short squeeze. January 2021 short squeeze. Again, what is a short squeeze? In the stock market, a short squeeze occurs when there is a lack of supply and an excess of demand for shares of a stock. The short squeeze was initially and primarily triggered by users of the subreddit Wall Street Bets, an internet forum on the social news website Reddit, although a number of hedge funds also participated. A hedge fund is a pooled investment fund that trades in relatively liquid assets and is able to make extensive use of more complex trading, portfolio construction, and risk management techniques in an attempt to improve performance, such as short selling, leverage, and derivatives. At its height, on January 28, the short squeeze caused the retailer's stock price to reach a pre-market value of extended hours trading. Is a stock trading that happens either before or after the trading day of a stock exchange of over 500 per share. Wow, nearly 30 times the $17.25 valuation at the beginning of the month in January. Can you imagine? Less than a month going 30 times. So if you invest $1, you make 30. $10, you make 300, right? Because it's times 10. $100 gives you 3,000. 1,000 gives you 30,000, and so on. The price of many other heavily shorted securities also increased. On January 28th, some brokerages, including Robinhood, a brokerage, stockbroker, shareholder, registered representative, trading representative, or more broadly, an investment broker, investment advisor, financial advisor, wealth manager, or investment professional, is a regulated broker, broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, including Robinhood. Robinhood Markets Incorporated is an American financial services company headquartered in Menlo Park, California, known for offering commission-free trades. That's good. Commission-free, that's great. Wish I could have $1 to invest with them. But now it's controversial because they did this controversial thing, right? So maybe not. Maybe I won't invest with them. But commission-free. I love that. Robinhood Markets Inc. is an American financial services company headquartered in Menlo Park, California, known for offering commission-free trades of stocks and exchange-traded funds via a mobile app introduced in March 2015. Known for offering commission-free trades of stocks and exchange-traded funds via a mobile app introduced in 2015. Robinhood is a FINRA-regulated broker-dealer. On January 28th, some brokerages, including Robinhood, halted the buying of GameStop and other securities, later citing their inability to post sufficient collateral. Collateral in lending agreements, a collateral is a borrower's pledge of specific property to a lender to secure repayment of a loan. The collateral serves as a lender's protection against the borrower's default and so can be used to offset the loan if the borrower fails to pay the principal and interest satisfactory. At clearinghouses, in banking and finance, clearing denotes all activities from the time a commitment is made for a transaction until it is settled. In banking and finance, clearing denotes all activities from the time a commitment is made for a transaction until it is settled. Clearing. In banking and finance, a clearing denotes all activities from the time a commitment is made for a transaction until it is settled. This process turns the promise of payment into the actual movement of money from one account to another. Clearinghouses were formed to facilitate. In banking and finance, clearing denotes all activities from the time a commitment is made for a transaction until it is settled. This process turns the promise of payment into the actual movement of money from one account to another. Houses to execute their clients' orders. This decision attracted criticism and accusations of market manipulation. Well, market manipulation is a type of market abuse where there is a deliberate attempt to interfere with the free and open operation of the market. The most blatant of cases involve creating false or misleading appearances with respect to the price of or market for a product, security, or commodity. Wow. Yeah, it seems it is so, right? This decision attracted criticism. The decision of halting the buying of GameStop and other securities by Robinhood and other brokerages. This decision attracted criticism and accusations of market manipulation. Market manipulation is a type of market abuse where there is a deliberate attempt to interfere with the free and fair operation of the market. The most blatant of cases involve creating false or misleading appearances with respect to the price of or market for a product, security, or commodity. This decision attracted criticism and accusations of market manipulation from prominent politicians and business people from across the political spectrum. Me too. For me too. Adrian h.a.dragan, independent financial citizen analyst. Me too, man. This decision attracted criticism. Get rid of all the stock market. Get rid of it. Secure food, housing, and transport. Encourage people to work out, train, exercise, develop technology for pleasure, purpose, studying, space, etc. This decision attracted criticism and accusations of market manipulation from prominent politicians and business people from across the political spectrum. Dozens of class action lawsuits were filed against Robinhood in U.S. courts, and the U.S. House Committee on Financial Services held a congressional hearing on the incident. Dozens of class action lawsuits. Class action, also known as a class action lawsuit, class suit, or representative action. It's a type of lawsuit where one of the parties is a group of people who are represented collectively by a member or members of that group. Class action, also known as class action lawsuit, class action is a type of lawsuit where one of the parties is a group of people who are represented collectively by a member or members of that group. Class action, also known as class action lawsuit, class suit, or representative action is a type of lawsuit. One of the parties is a group of people who are represented collectively by a members of that group. Class action originated in the United States and is still predominant. Filed against Robinhood in U.S. courts and the U.S. House Committee on Financial Services. The United States House Committee on Financial Services, also referred to as House Banking Committee, held a congressional hearing on the incident in reaction to brokerages halting the buying of GameStop and other securities. The total market capitalization of cryptocurrencies and metal futures increased as well. Market capitalization market cap in the market value of a publicly traded company. Cryptocurrencies, metal futures. Finance, a futures contract, is a standardized legal agreement to buy or sell something at a predetermined price at a specified time in the future. See, this goes like this. From January 20th, it starts going to February 1. Just goes up and up and up for just 10 days, just up like a mountain. Short selling is a finance practice in which an investor, known as short seller, borrows shares and immediately sells them, hoping to buy them back later, covering at a lower price. Return the borrowed shares plus interest to the lender and profit off the difference. The practice carries an unlimited risk of losses because there is no inherent limit to how high a stock price can rise. This is in contrast with taking a long position, simply owning the stock, where the investor's loss is limited to the cost of their initial investment. Short sellers are exposed to a risk of short squeezing in the stock market. A short squeeze occurs when there is a lack of supply and an excess of demand for shares of a stock, which occurs. GameStop, an American chain of brick-and-mortar video games, had struggled in recent years due to competition from digital distribution services. Brick-and-mortar refers to a physical presence of an organization or business in a building or other structure. The term brick-and-mortar business is often used to refer to a company. However, in September 2020, Ryan Cohen, the former CEO of online pet food retailer Chewy, revealed a significant investment in GameStop and joined the company's board, leading some to believe that the stock was undervalued. Online discussion. Subreddit Wall Street is an online community on Reddit, a social news website. The community is known for discussion around high-risk stock transactions. Even before the short squeeze, there had been interest in GameStop. Kit Gill, known by Reddit username DeepFuckingValue and the YouTube and Twitter alias Roaring Kitty, purchased around 53,000 in call options on GameStop stock in 2019 and saw his position rise to a value of $48 million. Wow. By January 27, 2021, last month, from 52,000 to 48 million. Gil, 48, 34-year-old marketing professional and chartered financial analyst from Massachusetts, states that he had begun investing in GameStop during the summer of 2019 after believing the stock to be undervalued. Dude, everyone thinks I'm crazy, and I think everyone else is crazy. I've dealt in deep value stocks for years, but I've never endured bearish sentiment this heavy. I expect this narrative to shift in the second half of the year when investors start looking for ways to play the console refresh and they begin to see what I see. Another user, Stonks Flying Up, posted a humorous video on October 27, 2020, explaining how a short position by Melvin Capital is an American investment management firm founded in 2014 by Gabriel Plotkin and based in New York City, and invests primarily in tech and consumer stocks and is reported to have $8 billion on their assets under management as of January 2021. Could be used to execute a short squeeze using a scene from Chernobyl, the tragedy of '86, of course, in the Ukraine nuclear reactor, to illustrate how the hedge fund would blow up similarly to a nuclear reactor. On January 27, 2021, technology news website Mashable is an American entertainment, culture, tech, science, and social good digital media platform. News website, multi-platform media. Reported that Subreddit had broken page view records due to the short squeeze, receiving 73 million page views in 24 hours. Wow. Wall Street Subways was the fastest growing subreddit at the time. The community surged by more than 1.5 million users overnight to a total of 6 million members on January 29. Wow. Possible causes. See also financial crisis. Some factors included anger of some investors towards Wall Street hedge funds for their role in their financial crisis of 2007 and 2009, or the general democratization of the stock market coupled with the ability of retail traders to communicate instantaneously through social media. Suggested factors. Well, during that financial crisis, I was let down and was working more than full time, more than 40 hours a week, more than full time, making overtime. And during that period, 2007, 2010, my hours were cut 3 times. Once from more than 40 to 35, from 35 to 30, and from 30 to 25. 3 times my hours were cut. Great financial crisis. And of course, the rich, the wealthy, they didn't suffer that much. Some not at all, right? Because if you're a millionaire, you lose a few millions, it's not the same. Your bread and butter is not the fucking same. Fuck 'em. Suggested factors included anger of some investors towards Wall Street hedge funds for their role in the financial crisis of 2007-2008, or the general democratization of the stock market coupled with the ability of retail traders to communicate instantaneously through social media. Rise in stock price and volume. Some suggested factors included anger of some investors towards Wall Street hedge funds for their role in the financial crisis of 2007-2008. Hedge fund is a pooled investment fund that trades in relatively liquid assets and is able to make extensive use of more complex trading, portfolio construction, and risk management techniques in an attempt to improve performance. Rise in stock price and volume. In January 2021, Reddit users on the Wall Street Bets subreddit built the foundations for a short squeeze on GameStop. January 2021, Reddit users on the Wall Street Bets subreddit built the foundation for a short squeeze on GameStop, pushing up the stock price significantly. This occurred shortly after a comment from Citron Research. Citron Research Andrew Edward Left is an activist, short seller, author, and editor of the online investment newsletter Citron Research, formerly StockLemon.com. Under the name Citron Research, Left publishes reports on firms that he claims are overvalued or are engaged in fraud, predicting the value of the stock would decrease. The stock price increased 1,500% by January 27 over the course of 2 weeks, and its high volatility caused trading to be halted multiple times. Wow. According to Dow Jones market data, more than 175 million shares of GameStop were traded on January 25th, the second largest total in a single day, surpassing its 30-day average volume of 29.8 million shares. Some of those investing into the stock were young teenage investors. In conjunction with the short squeeze, the resulting increase in options volume triggered a gamma squeeze as a result of market makers needing to buy shares to hedge their increasing short gamma exposure. Gamma squeeze. In mathematical finance, the Greeks and are the quantities representing the sensitivity of the price of derivatives such as options to a change in underlying parameters on which the value of instrument portfolio of financial instruments is dependent. Market maker or liquidity provider is a company or an individual that quotes both a buy and a sell price in a financial instrument or commodity held in inventory, hoping to make a profit on the bid-ask spread. Buy shares to hedge their increased short gamma exposure. Wow. The GameStop stock closed up 92.7% on January 26. Business magnate Elon Musk tweeted GameStop along with a link to the Wall Street's Bets subreddit. A brief sharp rise in the share price to over $200 followed Elon Musk's tweet. As of January 28th, an all-time highest intraday stock price for GameStop was $483, nearly 190 times the low of $2.57 reached 9 months earlier in April 2020. Halting of stock purchases. On January 28, Robinhood halted purchases of GameStop, AMC Theaters, BlackBerry Limited, Nokia Corporation, and other volatile stocks from its trading platform. Some brokerage firms, including Robinhood, stated on January 29 that the restrictions were the result of clearing houses raising the required collateral for executing trades. Because there is a 2-day lag between the moment when investors purchase a security and the moment cash and securities are actually exchanged, brokerage firms have to post collateral at clearing houses to guarantee the proper settlement of their clients' orders. Controversial. Decline in value. On February 1st and 2nd, the stock price for GameStop declined substantially. It's my friend, whom I love and call sister, oftentimes a teacher. My friend whom I love and call sister, texted me because I'm being too loud. I just realized it's past. I thought it was 9 something. And so, I have to wrap it up. It's 10:40 p.m. EST. Cup of coffee. So again, controversial thing. Now I'm gonna be reading something more important, not more important, but in a parallel way. More in the terms that more important that for me personally as a personal experience. Although if I would have had money to invest in the stock market, I would have on an app or commission free. But anyways, the last thing that I would gonna read here: the shares of GME Resources, an Australian mining company with Australian Securities Exchange, ASX symbol GME, increased more than 50% during intraday trading, closing with a 13.3 increase on January 28, closing with a 13.3% increase on January 28, closing with a 13.3% increase on January 28. This was speculated to have been due to a joke or mistake, as the ASX symbol was the same as GameStop's New York Stock Exchange ticker symbol, GME. Wow, 13.3 increase. It's a joke or mistake or a joke. Mistake, joke, jokingly mistaken. 13.3. It's exactly 13 is the maximum Dragon trainer workout rules, right? Maximum 13 reps, minimum 3, 13.3. Anyways, the third after Black History Month GameStop financial event, as I'm calling it. We'll now do a little bit of reading, quick reading, about Acquired Savant Syndrome. What is it? Well, yesterday night I was taking a bath, Monday, and if I give me a loaned me a Scientific American, which I've read while taking, which was reading while taking a bath. I was reading it, read about the black hole at the beginning of time, but stumbled over 3 main articles. 3-part plan, big data, cybersecurity, neuroscience, accidental genius, and education, the science of learning. 3 great articles. This is from 6 years ago, almost 7 this August. A lot of it is still relevant, especially this neuroscience. Neuroscience is, of course, the study of the brain, development, healing, brain operation. Neuroscience, study of the brain, science of the brain. This is the article beginning the page. Accidental genius. A blow. I'm gonna read the first line because I can't read all the article because it's copyright, so I can just read excerpts. A blow to the head can sometimes unmask hidden artistic or intellectual gifts. And I would have updated it. A blow to the head, this article by Darrell A. Trayford. Artistic, intellectual, and athletic. And to that trinity I would even put a 4th dimension, spiritual. I'm going to read it again. A blow to the head can sometimes unmask hidden artistic or intellectual gifts. And I would even add athletic and spiritual to artistic and intellectual. And now I'm going to be reading from Brain Injury Law, about this acquired savant syndrome. Traumatic brain injuries carry significant long-term social and cognitive effects for those affected. Often victims' lives are completely upended to the degree that they can barely recognize themselves. Other times, the brain responds to trauma in spectacular ways, resulting in talents the injured person never before expressed. This is called acquired savant syndrome. It took 11 years to yours truly, h.a.dragan, rebirthing as Hana, priestess of the goddess and dragon zero, of the dancing goddess and the dragon emperor and the phoenix people's party. Think thought maybe I was bipolar, and yes, I have urges, bipolar. I do have anger issues. I was depressed, suicidal, etc., etc., etc. But the trauma 2010 which I received was hit by a black sword. Left side of the head. Actually, it's a curse that was a blessing in disguise. A scientific, even magically, if somebody wants, because all we know. But what we do know, some, not all, some people who experience traumatic brain injuries carry significant long-term social and cognitive effects. Other times, the brain responds to trauma in spectacular ways, resulting in talents the injured person never before expressed. Savant syndrome. Understanding acquired savant syndrome. So yours truly, h.a.dragan, after 11 years, discovers that this is what I have. Acquired savant syndrome after experiencing a traumatic head-brain injury from a black sword. Understanding acquired savant syndrome. Acquired savants are not common. For the most part, they are males. Dr. Trayford suspects there are less than 50 in the world in 2010. So it's 2010, February 2010, that's when February 11th or so, February 7th maybe, between the 7th and the 20th of February. Go into details, but how they was fighting at night. Somebody struck me with a black sword on the left. Traumatic brain injury. 2010, he released a book, my personal injury, traumatic brain injury, 2010. He released a book on the subject called Island of Genius, the bountiful mind of the autistic, quiet and sudden savant, which documents his findings on these exceptional people. Acquired savants are not common. For the most part, they are males. Dr. Trayford suspects there are less than 50 in the world. Wow. In 2010, he released a book on the subject called Island of Genius, the bountiful mind of the autistic, acquired and sudden savant, which documents his findings on these exceptional people. In all cases of savant syndrome, the right brain hemisphere compensates for the injured left hemisphere. For this reason, savant skills tend to manifest in 5 specific areas: calendar calculations, mathematics, and my friend who's oftentimes a teacher, the one I love and call sister, just the other day made me calculate a quick calculation, and I was able to, even to my own, although I wasn't that bad in math when I was in high school, but nonetheless, calculate rapidly by head multiplications and percentages and divisions. Mathematics, art, my poetry, my creative writing, dancing. I never danced like I dance now, the world's greatest living dancing millennial poet. Consider myself, due to this paradox of a black sword hitting my left side, causing a near fatal mortal head wound. And music, can write music and rap, rock a little bit, and mechanical or spatial skills. And I would even add, in my case, athletic. During COVID, paradoxically, I've been getting the fittest, most powerful I still am in my adult life. Mechanical or spatial skills. Being able to share artistic, mathematical, and musical talent with the world is the brightest spot in the otherwise dismal reality of living with a traumatic brain injury. Traumatic brain injury too often only results in loss of memory, social skills, cognitive abilities, and sometimes loss of one's identity. I've struggled a lot, but I wrote a lot. Financial theory, mathematical, so this explains it. Although I dealt with depression, pain, and suicidal loneliness alone. This island of Montreal, Hawk Island, consecrated the Phoenix People's Party, Dragon and the Dancing Goddess Empire headquarters on Mount Royal. This island was, the libraries of Montreal became my second home. I read thousands of books, wrote theory for the Phoenix People's Party, and everything that I'm sharing now is part of that journey, is ongoing. The fact that savant skills entirely dormant before central nervous system injury or disease can surface by some release process raises intriguing questions about dormant capacity existing in all of us. Wow. That's me. February 2010. When the black sword struck my head, left side. Here I am, survived, getting in the fittest, most athletic, most powerful, strong physical condition of my adult life. Paradoxically living the worst financial crisis of my adult life. In the minus 535, getting $740 to pay rent, pay electricity, and buy me some food in March. If I don't get that first dollar donation, I'm gonna start March as a beggar on the streets, an artist, athlete, independent artist, beggar. 40-day revolution for world peace ends and the establishment. The revolution begins. 13.3 days or so. I mean 13 days, 3 hours, whatever. So on Wikipedia, Savant Syndrome. Savant Syndrome causes brain injury. Head wound concussions can trigger in some the Savant Syndrome to acquire new skills in artistic skills, intellectual skills, I would even say athletic and spiritual for me, adding a fourth dimension. So, thanks to my friend, oftentimes teacher, who I love and call sister, who shall remain anonymous. My love, but sometimes were very nasty words that I said. And I wish if I make this is gonna be on record. She's anonymous. She's the only sister and the only family I got. If it wouldn't have been for her, I would have probably been that Savant Syndrome would have turned into hoodlum. Would have been a menace to society and the world figure. Terror on the streets. So, she's the only sister I got. The only family I got. So, anybody willingly loving to join h.a.dragan and founders androgynous pansexual of the dancing goddess and the dragon army. Phoenix People's Party pledge your allegiance. So I took this article written in August 2014, neuroscience article to discuss the acquired Savant Syndrome, which was truly that curse turned into a blessing, as that's yours truly Adrian h.a.dragan, rebirthing as Hana. So androgynous, pansexual founder of the Phoenix People's Party, the anti-war, anti-poverty, anti-racism, universal revolutionary centrist, not fascist, not communist, centrist revolutionary to secure food, housing, and transport for all via the creation of the global central bank, via biometrics, eye, retina, by what I call debt refusion, a theory which is an intellectual financial skill I wrote about 7 years ago, and paradoxically see this probably triggered that intellectual capability to discern, to know this traumatic brain injury which I've survived, caused by a black sword in 2010 February. For world peace. Blow to the head can sometimes unmask hidden artistic or intellectual gifts. Me as an independent, my artistic, athletic, activist, and spiritual skills paradoxically are tied into that, into my revelation in July 2007.